This is Keith Bradbury, owner of Who North America, America's Doctor Who store, and you're listening to The Legend of the Traveling Tardis.
My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling Tardis. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, again to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. My name is Christian Basil. Welcome back. And for those of you just joining us, welcome, welcome. If you're listening to us on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Krypton Radio, wherever you're listening to the Hooniverse, we want to thank you for coming and joining us here. Again, my name is Christian Basil, and we have a kind of a special episode today that we are something that I've been thinking about over and over again about how, I started this radio show, and if you've listened to the intro earlier, I was right. Years ago, I came up with an idea. I got myself a TARDIS, and I took it all over the place. And now, years later, after I started speaking to people, going to panels, being part of the panels, taking pictures of cosplayers, friends, celebrities, and such like that, here we are right now to the radio show years later. And this is the end result, the end product. That was something that was started by the influence of Doctor Who on my life that I've gotten to this point. So just a mere 7 years ago, I purchased a little die-cast TARDIS on the internet, went around and took pictures of people, and now the legend has begun. But I can't do this alone, so I've got some friends with me. First of all, I've got Mackenzie Flohr from the Rite of Wands, author of the Rite of Wands. Hello there, hello. Mackenzie. How you doing? Not bad. And his return trip, because we loved him so much, I've got Nico. Am I still doing one names today?
Yeah, you know what? It's always best just to go with Nico. Nobody can say the last name anyway. It got Ellis Islanded.
That's Nico, like Madonna. So, and exactly. He's we're giving the friends over there at the Hanging With team a little bit of a break this week, so they're going to be taking it off right now. But we have a very special guest with us, all the way from Indiana. He runs a little store. Maybe if you're up there in the area, he runs a little museum called the Who North America. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Mr. Keith Bradbury. How you doing, Keith?
Doing fine. Thanks for introducing me.
Great. How's your day been?
It's been pretty busy here. We've had some customers come into the store from everywhere from Cincinnati to, wherever they all come from. So I had someone from D.C. area today, too. So
really?
That's exciting.
Where's the furthest that somebody's come from?
Well, I've had people from Australia, from Morocco, from, all over the world. So it's hard to say where the furthest is because either they're just visiting in the States and they're coming by to see us, or it's hard telling, so.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to get back to Keith with just a moment there and talk more about Who North America. But first, no Sage today, so we got somebody just as lovely. We've got Nico. Nico doing the Who Knew News. Take it away.
Hey, everybody. So there hasn't been a whole lot going on right now, but there has been enough news to talk about. First of all, if you're somebody who wants to catch up on Classic Who or rewatch it, you guys can check out Pluto TV, which just launched a new channel in a joint venture with the BBC containing 200 episodes of Classic Who.
All right, we're done. Everybody, thanks for playing.
Exactly. What are we even still doing?
You'll know where I need me. Now, how does anybody get Pluto TV? Do we know offhand?
Well, Pluto TV is a Viacom-owned digital station, which is also going to be taking on up to 300 rotating episodes of the Antiques Roadshow, which is one of my absolute favorite. It's available through BritBox, which is a subscription VOD service available from the BBC and ITV.
Gosh, do we know what 200 episodes that they have out there? I'm assuming it's classic.
Yes, it's all Doctors 1 through 7, and it has a list available, but it did make it sound like the Antiques Roadshow materials would be cycling on a quarterly basis. I'm not sure if the same is going to be true of the Doctor Who stuff, as the article was a little unclear, so keep an eye out on Pluto TV for that.
Thank you, Pluto TV, for keeping up with the Whoniverse and then bringing more content and folks who may not be familiar with the classic series. We definitely want to. I know BritBox does it. I think Amazon Prime still does it. Amazon does it, and I think now we can say Pluto TV. So if you're looking for classic Who, there you go. I'd be entertained there. Mackenzie, what do you think? We get some more Who new stuff.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, we get more new stuff. And I know that when you were talking about Amazon Prime, BritBox is available there. I want to say like it's $7.99 a month on Amazon Prime. So
you don't have to spend $50 per collection per set there. You could just...
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you do.
I take it all back.
You obviously aren't a comic fan. If you were a comic fan, you know you need the digital, the loose issue, and the hardcover.
Exactly. But if you are somebody who is a diehard fan who wants it sitting on your shelf, because you can't sign digital copies of anything. You can't you can't sign an app. You have to get stuff where people, and especially the artwork and such like that, and you can get it from somebody like Keith. So yeah, wow. Oh, sorry, Keith.
No, that's
sorry
fine.
to take over.
And you can actually get Pluto if you have a Roku. So if you have a Roku hooked up to your TV, you can watch Pluto on your television. So,
okay. Nico, what else we got in the news today?
The only other big Doctor Who news, I don't know if you can call it big Doctor Who news, but you can certainly call it news, is the Metro over in the UK is running an article about conservative members of British politics and the Doctor Who villains they look like. It's a little unflattering, and whether you're on whichever side of the aisle, it's certainly a way to non-constructively discuss politics.
I just gotta say, can we keep in my Doctor Who world of hot cocoa, can we keep the political marshmallows out? It's tainting my hot cocoa. It's really making it sour. I just want Doctor Who the way it should be. Just some mindless fun. Well, not mindless. That was rude. But some entertainment, some sci-fi entertainment that I can get out of the real world and enjoy. But that's just me. I mean, what do you guys think of the political stance there?
I'm a very political person, but I don't know that I think it's constructive in any way to mock candidates. It's the sort of pathetic debasery that it says more about the person writing the article. Yes, it's very easy to take shots at someone's appearance by saying they look like a horrible monster. And don't get me wrong. I think there are certain actions that people have that make them less attractive, but to go after someone's physicality using a negative photo does seem like an unnecessary blow, and it's certainly not something that Doctor Who needs to be dragged into.
Well, it needs to be. Every time I hear the words that they're trying to be inclusive, we're trying to get inclusive. This was parroted by Jodie. This was also reiterated by Peter Capaldi, who said that's what's so great about Doctor Who, it's inclusive. And then we had the episode with Donald Trump, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a great idea, because you have half a country who supported Trump, and that's just throwing egg on their face, and it's just
hold up, a third. Okay. Don't stress that number.
Well, regardless, I mean, I don't like it when they enter the political realm, because that, to me, distance an audience, regardless of who you voted for or whatnot. It doesn't matter which side it's on. Once you start going into that realm, then I think you're pushing audiences away, or at least you're giving them a sour taste. But like I said, I digress. That's why I don't like the political push into the Whoniverse. Besides, I keep telling people, it's just like, if I really wanted to see Donald Trump, or political news, I can go. I've got all the political TV shows. I've got Animal Planet. I've got History Channel. I've got Discovery Channel. They're all on the hate wagon. I'm just like, I just want Doctor Who to be simply, my sci-fi world of getting out of the political world there. So that's all for the news at this moment, Nico?
Yeah, it's been a slow news week, I guess. I'm excited that I imagine news has to be coming soon, right?
I'm hoping that they would give a little. Well, recently they were giving out little, photos of on location shootings and stuff like that, but I haven't seen anything recently. So yeah, definitely a slow news day. So hey there, folks. When we return, we're going to be talking to our guest Keith Bradbury, who is owner and operator of the museum over in Indiana. Never say that right. Indiana, Who North America. He's going to talk to you a little bit about what he does and how he got started from a little TV show known as Doctor Who when we return. So stay tuned and continue to become part of the legend.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Who's who? What's hot and what's not? 2019 saw some amazing new creative talents, and now you can peek behind the scenes at the hottest indie creative artists in this year's edition of 25 Hottest Indie Authors, Artist Advocates 2019 magazine. Published by the renowned And I Thought Ladies, this is a one-of-a-kind look into the brightest rising stars in the creative universe. Get yours today at magcloud.com and at andwethought.com.
Mature and curvaceous Juliana faces the consequences of having two online lovers, the insanely jealous Aaron and the kind, sexy silver fox Bobby. To make her life more complicated, she must weather the wrath of her husband Rocco, who has discovered his suspicion and uncovers a deep, dark secret. And there are more secrets to uncover. Will these secrets come out? Can Juliana survive this tsunami of impossible situations? Will she be able to rebuild the life she once had? Or will the burden of the past prove too much? Is there even a happily ever after in her future? Read what happens when you pick up your copy of With All of Me Too today from joannesbooks.com or amazon.com.
Authors, filmmakers, producers, anybody that has anything to do with creating independent stuff, comic book authors, musicians. Make sure you take advantage of the 2019 Indie Originals Live Talent Competition going on now at www.indieoriginalslive.com. This is your exclusive opportunity to become an official award-winning independent creator to use that in your marketing. Enter today at www.indieoriginalslive.com.
Are you looking for a used car?
Check out the public auto auction app from carauctionnetworks.com.
You can download the app on your phone or tablet and use it for free, and there's no registration required.
You can see what's for sale at car auctions, such as
bank repos,
dealer trade-in,
surplus government vehicles,
or impounds.
There are plenty of cheap used cars and trucks listed in the app.
You can save a lot of money with the public auto auction app.
You can also see and bid at car auctions online.
Get the public auto auction app for iOS at the Apple Store.
Or on Google Play.
Or simply go to carauctionnetwork.com.
That's carauctionnetwork.com.
And we're back to the legend, the Traveling Tardis. Thank you for staying tuned with us. My name is Christian Basil, host and operator of the Traveling Tardis there. I've got Mackenzie Flohr, the lovely author of The Rite of Wands, and she's going to have a big role in what we're going to be discussing today with the gentleman who is our special guest today from Who North America. And we also have my good friend Nico, who just did the Who Knew News. Guys, I'm really excited about this event that's happening this weekend. But first of all, if you're listening to this and you're just waking up and you are in the Indiana area, we're going to be discussing about a Who event that you should be at already. I'm hoping you are. If not, definitely we're going to discuss them more. But we're going to take it away with our new friend over here, Keith Bradbury. Keith, tell us how you got into the Whoniverse. What brought you in? Who brought you in, for a better term?
Okay. Sure thing. Yeah, I was a fan of the classic show back in the 1980s when the series started showing on PBS stations in America. I was already a science fiction fan. Of course, Star Wars had come out in 1977. I saw that in the theaters. And then I was a fan of the classic Star Trek show, like shows like Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers in the 25th Century and all that. And then my PBS station was showing Monday through Fridays at 10 o'clock at night, an episode, half-hour episode every night of Doctor Who, starring Tom Baker. And I saw it from the first episode of Tom Baker, and then was watching it every chance I had, and a huge fan of it. Of course, as a kid, I had the Star Wars toys. I had, my Battlestar Galactica toys, but there were no toys for Doctor Who. You couldn't get them in the States.
I know. Tell me about it.
if you happened to go to a convention and you saw a toy, it was so expensive, chances are you couldn't afford it. So, for my entire childhood, I always dreamt of having my own Doctor Who toys, that I could actually have and play with and everything as a kid. And when the 90s came around and the internet became a thing, in 1998, I was doing a website that had all kinds of fan reviews of Doctor Who episodes, and we had chatting going on and back and forth. And I looked on the internet and found Daypole, who was doing the action figures at the time. They had some Doctor Who stuff. I contacted them, and I said, hey, I'd like to get some of the toys. Are there any available? And they basically said, well, we don't have anyone in the United States carrying them right now. They're, the show's been off for a while, and there's not a lot of interest in it over there. And I said, well, I'd like to get some. And so we actually started with about $1,000 worth of toys, and within 1 week I had to order more because as soon as I got them, people on on our website went crazy. They wanted to get a hold of them. There were a lot of them were just like me. They've never had them as a kid, and they always wanted them. And that started in 1998. Now here it is, 21 years later, and we're pretty much the biggest Doctor Who specific store in the world. So that's kind of the neat thing about us. And we've been collecting and setting stuff aside all these years and building up a kind of a museum of merchandise where people can see all the different things that have come out since the show started getting merchandising in about 1965. That's when the first things started coming out. Of course, the show began in 1963. But the first Doctor Who products didn't come out until about a couple years later. And so we've got stuff from all the way back then to current stuff. So on display.
Wow. But you run a museum. Can you tell us a little bit about the Who North American?
Yeah. It's like I said, it's here within our store. It's free for everybody to view when they come into the area. We're just outside of Indianapolis. So we're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And if you're ever in the area, we're not very far from the airport, actually just an Uber drive away, probably about 15 minutes from the Indianapolis International Airport. So if you're ever over this way, you can come in, take a look at everything, and see it all. You can buy some stuff in our store. You can take pictures, and it's really cool. I mean, like I said, there's toys, there's figures. We've got a full-size classic Cyberman on display, and we've got a new series Dalek that's on display, and here you can see that. You can get pictures with the TARDIS, so lots of fun stuff.
Sweet. Goodness. And why a store? Well, I mean, where did you come up with the idea and say, listen, I need to build a store here? I think people would be interested. And how is it that you've been running so long? How long? I mean, 21 years. That's just an incredible amount of time. And I've known places in Orlando, which I thought was the mecca of sci-fi. Places have gone in and out. How have you lasted as long as you have?
Well, it's been it's kind of a funny thing. It just kind of grew and continued to grow. I think a lot of it is we were really in the right place at the right time. We were one of the, like I said, we started in 1998, and for example, back in 1998, Amazon was a bookstore that also carried videos and DVDs, and that was about it. eBay, I think, incorporated the same year we did, or real close to that. I mean, so you're talking about the early days of the internet. I know early on our biggest competition were catalog companies. Mm-hmm. Because if you wanted to get science fiction stuff like Star Trek stuff or even some Doctor Who items, you had to usually buy it from a catalog company.
Right.
And it was very expensive because you're paying for the cost of printing all those huge catalogs that have to get mailed to everybody's house and all of that. And the internet was a way that we could actually sell things for considerably cheaper. And so it really just kind of, a lot of it's timing and ruthless dedication. It's just been, and it's been a long process. But like I said, we never really set out to start a company or anything like that because it was all fan based. Mm-hmm. I was a fan. That was what I was wanting to do, was just kind of get a hold of some different things. When I got married, my wife was not a Doctor Who fan, but I introduced her to the show. But
that's a good husband.
Yeah, before I got married, the funny thing was that before I got married, whenever the new VHS tapes came out for Doctor Who, they'd come out every few months. You'd get 6 tapes out. I'd actually take that day off work so I could actually go get the tapes and watch them. And when I got married, suddenly we didn't have near as much money, and my wife was like, "You can't afford to keep buying this stuff. You need to do something else." So I came up with a way that if I actually sold a bunch of it, I could keep one for myself, and that's what I did. So that was the sneaky way that I was able to build my collection, and still able to do it to this day. So
we had very similar paths. I was a comics guy and worked in a comic shop, and I started working at a comic shop for the discount. And then I quickly realized that was a humongous mistake because that discount did nothing for minimum wage. And it was rough. But that's really fascinating. I love that it started for you because you wanted to get your hands on more materials and merchandise. But I got to know, how did you get that classic series Cyberman?
Oh, well, the classic series Cyberman is actually we had some people in the UK who helped us as far as the head and chest piece. And then the body is a build according to the original specs. So because the body is it's actually like a winter one-piece, like a ski outfit that's been that has airline tubing all over it and then has had this silver kind of latex over it. And so that's how the body was originally made by the prop department. So we actually replicated that part essentially according to spec. So we've had to kind of do a little bit of that. And then the new series Dalek, on the other hand, is currently on loan to us. So it's on display until that is requested back by the owner. So, but we've had it for quite a while, and they're happy to let us show it off to everybody. So that's one of the few parts in our museum that's not technically ours, but we are working on actually building a classic series Dalek, and that one will be a ground-up build. So.
Ooh, that's very, very fascinating. So I'm going to be there, as you know, on Saturday. And one of the awesome things that Christian's doing is he's lending me the little TARDIS that he got. So my question is, if there was one item in the store that I absolutely, or in the museum, that I must absolutely get a photograph with that little TARDIS.
Well, if you want my absolute favorite item, it's the...
Keith himself.
Yes.
Definitely wants a picture with it.
Yes.
Well, like I said, the full-size Dalek and Cyberman are really cool. So getting a picture with those is really good. If you were going to go over to one piece in the museum, it's one of my favorites. It's an item called the TARDIS Tuner. And it's an odd piece in that what it is actually an AM, FM. No, it's just an AM radio. I'm sorry, it's not even an FM radio. It's just an AM radio that also can make all kinds of electronic sounds if you start flipping switches on it. But the packaging, it came out during during Tom Baker's time. So the packaging is so 70s looking that it's like one of my apps. I just like it for the packaging. It's one of the most incredible things that, in my museum. It's one of my favorite items. So that's one of those items. It's like, if you're going to get a picture of something that I like, get one with that.
Now, Nico, we're going to probably have to explain VHS tapes and AM radio for some of our audience. I don't know.
Okay. So right after the dinosaurs, but before Jesus did magic, there was this thing, and it was kind of like paper, but it also was kind of filmy, and it was a cassette, and you could use cassette box to bring yourself joy. And it was actually a very different market. In all seriousness, the DVD market has so incredibly transformed storytelling and narrative voice. It used to be that these sets were sold with these individual VHSs, maybe 2 episodes on a VHS, and now you can pick up a whole series. And I feel like in that regard, as somebody who at like 9 years old bought the complete Next Generation VHS set, it was like I would give my parents like $20 from each birthday card every month. I would like space it out because I just had to have them. And I'm such a Picard guy. And it's a totally different market, and it's a really different thing to experience. They're kind of a piece of magic and a piece of history. A lot of them included some bonus material. back in the day with the different things. And sometimes it was the only way you could see this stuff. There wasn't syndicated reruns with the accessibility there are now. So the VHS market has been such a weird thing to watch evolve away. I remember going to my local grocery store and occasionally seeing a VHS box of like a box set, and it would be like all of the episodes of Friends season 4 on 8 VHSs, and I'm like, why? Who has the room? Number one, wait, nonsense. Number two, who has the room?
Exactly. No. Well, first of all, Nico, when you started doing your dialogue, the first thing I thought was that guy from Airplane. He goes, well, the Earth cooled, and then the dinosaurs came, but they got too big and fat. And so I was thinking he's going that far back. Okay, this is going to be a long show. But Keith, I also know, surprisingly, vinyl's making a comeback.
There are some people who collect vinyl. It's an interesting medium. I've got a few of the old records. The nice thing about the old records is they make really nice art. Now, yes. I am not one of these people who puts on a record to listen to or anything like that. But the the records, you can actually get frames that fit them, and some of them are very nice art. So, like a lot of the old Doctor Who records, I've actually got them hanging up around the shop. If you come walk in, and there's always pictures on the wall, you can see a lot of the old things like that. Some of the things that are hanging on the walls are the old albums with the records still in the sleeves that are actually framed in record frames that you can actually buy and see those. I mean, you can buy them in stores, the frames, and put those up. So I've always kind of looked at records as art as opposed to a medium that anybody actually really listens to quite the way they used to. So.
I actually collect records myself now, essentially because of the presentation that they allow you to have on your wall. But in some cases, like Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion, I know that just really says a lot about me, but in the case of Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion, the vinyl pressing sounds totally different, and it brings a different warmth to it. And to kind of stretch it back around a little bit with the records, one of the things that I think is so fascinating about the return of records, especially in terms of how it's affecting collectors, is we're seeing the records sometimes have custom pressings. I would love to see Doctor Who get like a really cool TARDIS blue record and have it be a really nice art piece. A number of artists have done that. Tori Amos, and I can connect it. She did a song on Good Omens, David Tennant, Doctor Who. I did it. She did an orange record, and it's just a big orange record. So they do have the ability to make these vinyls lovely, including the disc itself. And I would love it if Doctor Who could really experiment with that. Give us the time vortex. Give us the TARDIS. Give us the interior of the TARDIS. Give me every Doctor's face. Give me Sarah Jane's face. I'm just naming things I want now.
But you see, when I grew up with vinyls, I was like, you had to treat them properly. You had to wipe them down carefully. You couldn't scratch them. Or God forbid you scratched them. And I'm like, people are hanging them up on walls, making art out of them, cutting them up. I'm like, my goodness, I feel like I'm being violated.
Well, of course, you can't listen to vinyl in cars. That was one of the things that, kind of always set it apart for me. But one of the neat things about, like with the classic series in the vinyl, the 5 Doctors and also another were actually presented as picture discs. So you could actually, at the time, get those in picture disc. The 5 Doctor picture disc is one of probably the more collectible old records, if you can find that one. Other than the UK exclusive, like 1965 Dalek CD or something like that, that came from that period, that would just be rare because it was in England and it never came out in the United States. So.
Well, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. We got to pay some bills. When we return on this episode of Who Made Me Do It, we're going to be continuing our talk with Keith Bradbury of Who North America. We can continue to listen and to become part of the legend.
Change your life with Reiki Distance Energy from EnergyRightNow.
What is Reiki?
Well, Reiki Distance Energy is positive energy transferred over distance by Reiki energy practitioners to help you heal and live your best life.
How will Reiki help me?
Reiki energy transfers can help increase your income, better your health, help you lose weight, even stop smoking. It can be used to buy or sell real estate, even find lost items.
Wow, Reiki energy seems pretty powerful.
It is, and you can start calling on Reiki energy today. Just reach out to practitioner Leah Schiller online at EnergyRightNow.wordpress.com.
Leah Schiller, where can I find her online again?
Unlock your potential today with Energy Right Now at EnergyRightNow.wordpress.com.
Now on Amazon.com, ICoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet ICoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only ICoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and ICoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get ICoin on Amazon.com today.
Now on Amazon.com. War Calls, Love Cries, a Civil War novel by Mark Barie. Isaac Wells is an innocent farm boy living in upstate New York. His dreams are shattered by a treacherous brother and the onset of a devastating civil war. War Calls and Love Cries is a fast-moving historical narrative. It is an emotional roller coaster ride and a riveting must-read book that you will think about and talk about for a long time to come. War Calls, Love Cries is the kind of book you will cherish for a lifetime. On Amazon.com today.
Best-selling and award-winning author of true crime and crime fiction, Yvonne Mason is back with a brand new book, The Pink Canary, a book that delves into the life of a drag queen and a marvelous whodunit. You can find this and all of Yvonne's other works on Amazon.com or find Yvonne Mason on Facebook and Twitter.
He's gonna kill me.
Buy your copy of Pink Canary now.
The Rite of Wands. One boy, one rite. And a world of deadly secrets that could change the course of history forever. It's time for The Rite of Wands by Mackenzie Flohr. When a horrible fate reveals itself during the Rite of Wands ceremony, Myrda must find a way to change his destiny. Forbidden from revealing the future, he is granted a wand and magical powers in order to save himself and those he loves. But Myrda is not the only one with secrets. The Rite of Wands by Mackenzie Flohr, available on Amazon.com now.
And welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis. My name is Christian Basil. I want to welcome back our favorite podcaster, Nico. We've got our favorite author, The Rite of Wands, Mackenzie Flohr. Well, you know what? They're my favorite, but everybody's my favorite, so don't tell them. And we have my favorite museum, Who North America, who is run and operated by Keith Bradbury. Keith.
Yes.
You can't keep a sign to keep your life going, could you? You can't keep up a sign, and I feel so sorry. So I got to say off the cuff, I am so sorry. I think I saw that on the news. Mackenzie sent it to me. So tell us about the history of your sign.
Oh, our sign? Well,
yes.
Yeah, we have a nice big sign in front of our building that just recently got hit by a vehicle in a high-speed chase after the police chased them, and they lost control and veered off the road and took out the TARDIS and sent it flying throughout our yard, and it's still sitting there right now in a big mess until all the insurance companies and everybody who has to come and do their thing get their stuff done, so we can actually clean up the mess and figure out what happens next. So it's a sad story, but.
So, well, I feel so bad about that. I saw that and just like, oh, good grief! I just can't keep it. I think you just need to get cement, or one of those things that like one of those little like games where the thing shoots out spikes when somebody gets too close. So like, oh wow, maybe I shouldn't hit that sign. You know,
well, fortunately, I think the doctor was able to stop a bad guy, so that's all that matters.
All right, well, there you go. Got to look at the positive side of things. What do you sell the most in your store? I'm assuming I'm going to take a gander and say sonic screwdrivers.
Sonic screwdrivers, yes, they're one of the biggest selling items probably of all time in Doctor Who toy history. As a store, of course, we're online our biggest sales times are when the new CDs come in from Big Finish. If people aren't aware, Big Finish is releasing new audio stories with the original cast. They're fully dramatized. They're not just an audiobook with somebody reading to you. They're actually created to sound exactly like the episodes you remember. So with the classic series, you've got the classic Doctors and classic companions. With the new series, David Tennant's recorded some with Billie Piper as Rose, and of course Donna Noble. She's in some episodes, so you get to hear them back in character with all new stories, feeling just like they'd never left the screen. So you've got those coming out every month. New audios come out for Doctor Who and Torchwood and other British science fiction series from Big Finish. And then also there's a monthly magazine called Doctor Who Magazine, and there's a lot of people online who are faithfully ordering that every month that comes out. So those are our two big regular things that come out. And then in store, we sell, like I said, we sell everything from sonic screwdrivers to coffee mugs. You wouldn't believe how many people buy coffee mugs. It's the first thing they seem to say, I need to get a coffee mug, and they buy coffee mugs when they come here.
So I have kind of a weird spin on that question. Do you have a best-selling doctor and a worst-selling doctor?
The best-selling doctor as far as toys and things, if you're referring to that, or items and merchandise?
Just in general, you're the doctor that flies off the shelf and the doctor that's like, hey, everybody remember me.
Yeah, I would say that some of the most popular items, Matt Smith and David Tennant are both really, really good sellers. So like in action figures and items related to that, those two are always good sellers. With the classic series, the Fourth Doctor is a fantastic seller. People are always buying Fourth Doctor figures. Of the stuff that really is the slowest seller, like in action figures, the Sixth Doctor action figure is probably one of the loneliest action figures. It's a hard move.
And let me just reiterate this. This is not to say this is good and bad doctors. This is
certainly not.
Well, the unfortunate thing with the Sixth Doctor is he had some really bad writing. So we can blame the writers all you want, and it has nothing to do with the actor.
Six is the loneliest number that you'll ever doctor. The loneliest number that you'll ever who.
There you go. And Capaldi stuff is slow selling too. So.
Okay, well let me add a twist to that. Who is the bestseller of Big Finish audios as far as the doctors are concerned?
The Big Finish audios?
That changed.
The Eighth Doctor is probably the absolute hottest of the audio series. People have loved the Eighth Doctor since he was introduced. One of the best audio doctors is the Sixth Doctor. So even if you didn't care for his television shows, his voice is fantastic. He's got one of the best dynamic characters for audio, so I always love the Sixth Doctor audios, and they're so much better written than the series that were on TV anyway. So it's really been able to, for example, a lot of people really felt Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor was a fabulous doctor, but he only had the TV movie, and he had, of course, that one short special for the 50th anniversary Night of the Doctor. But as an audio doctor, he's had a whole new life. His series is so fantastic and so good that, everybody looks forward to his audios when they come out. So it's breathed new life into doctors who kind of got shafted along the way. So it's kind of a good thing, too. So
highly recommend the Lucy Miller series.
Yeah, there you go. That's the Eighth Doctor.
And especially now that he's doing the Time War, so there's kind of a mixture in. Unfortunately, we lost John Hurt too soon. Now that they're exploring the Time War in audio, that is so nice there. What would you love to see Doctor Who merchandise sell? It was like, I've been thinking of this idea, and I wish the BBC would make this item. What would you want to sell at your store?
Well, personally, I would like to see a lot more Doctor Who classic action figures come back. The action figure market actually kind of fell out, a few years ago. I would say probably post 50th anniversary, there have not been a lot of action figures to the series since then. I mean, they have done the Doctor, but it's not like you're getting the things that you were before. So I really wish that would kind of come back, because most of the stuff that I like tends to be the toys and action figures. Now, if there's one thing I want in my own collection more than anything else, the one thing I want more than anything else is a life-size canine that's remote control. That is what I want. Because that was my dog.
And it's very ironic.
That's my dog.
It's ironic that you said that too, because when I was at Motor City, I actually had somebody from Disney came up to me and they go, "Hey, if you're ever in the LA, give me a buzz because I know the person who has K9." I'm like, "The K9?" They're like, "Yeah, the K9." I'm like, "Oh." So
yeah. And the thing here's the interesting thing about it. I don't necessarily want the actual one they had on the show, because I've seen some that people have done that are so much better than what they ever had on the show. I want those. It's like I want the ones that have, you know, the full in. I mean, they've got a television set on the side. They've got full audio capabilities. They're completely remote controlled. That, I mean, there's some really good ones that have been fan made that I'm like, ooh, if I could have that one, that's what I'd love to, you know. That would be my museum.
So you want K9? I want John Leeson following me all over the house. I want the real K9. I'm just like,
oh yeah, there you go.
Into the bathroom too long, Master. Did you wash your hands, Master?
I feel like I'm strange because I'm like, you know, all I want is a lava lamp that looks like the center of the TARDIS.
We've got it.
Oh, shut up! I've never seen it.
It's it looks a lot like the classic one, but yeah, we've got that. We've got it in stock.
That's, you know, and like, I'm a simple man and my dreams come true.
Yeah.
No, they actually had it for a short time. I gave it away as a gift. But yeah, it turned out. Yeah, it's. I used to carry it around at a couple conventions when I used to go out there. But I was just like, yeah, it's mesmerizing because you see the console. I just wish I wish it made noise. I wish it made noise like the Canary.
I was thinking the thing about that. Well, if anybody wants to know scale wise what that goes well with, it really goes well with the 8-inch Biff Bang Pow Doctor Who figures. If anybody had any of those, but it's almost like it's perfectly made for customization because it would be really good to put like a real little computer screen in it and everything. And I think somebody should take it and really customize it. It would be a very interesting piece. So.
Wow, I now I want to come up there, and I am very jealous about Mackenzie getting up there with my TARDIS. That thing better come back. That's all. You better come back in one piece, the way I sent it to you. As we're speaking right now, as we're recording this, he's on transit via FedEx because I ran out of dilithium. I'm sorry, Zeiton ore. So I'm sending him up there FedEx. So hopefully he makes it up there. Fingers crossed. But we're definitely going to be taking a lot of pictures of him. Mackenzie's going to make sure of that. I'm sorry, who was just talking?
I was going to say, and if everything goes according to plan, hopefully you can get it back and use some sort of psychometry to experience it yourself in the most Doctor Who'sian way.
Yeah. Just
like become one with it and enjoy the memories. I think it makes sense. This is a Doctor Who podcast. Just run with it.
Exactly. Just don't run with it.
No, walk very carefully and hold it on a pillow.
I got the diecast artist a long time ago. Go ahead, Mackenzie.
Yes. I was going to say, so let's talk about what's going on Saturday. So we've got this handcraft event that's coming up, and then in October we've got the Oktoberfest. So can you talk a little bit about
Sure. Now, this is our second annual handcrafted show. It's not exclusively Doctor Who, although there is a lot of Doctor Who stuff that will be there. Basically, we just want people, we want to do a showcase for people who do handcraft items. And we have a lot of geeky Doctor Who friends who do that and other interesting things. And there are going to be about 20 vendors. It'll be outside, out around our shop. We have a little over an acre. And there's also going to be a food truck, and I think Mr. Sprinkle's ice cream truck will be there too. So there'll be lots of fun stuff going on. And of course, we've got a special featured author who will be there as well. So, well, I don't know. Maybe you should introduce her. There you go. Mackenzie's going to be there, so that's exciting. So that, like I said, this will be the second year we've done this. And then Oktoberfest, which is the last Saturday of October, is our big fall festival, and it's a lot like the event you're going to be, if you're in the area for the craft show, it's a lot like that, except that with Oktoberfest, everybody who's a vendor has to have some Doctor Who stuff that they've made or they produce, and everybody who's there'll be games and other things, so you can actually play games, win prizes, and all kinds of neat things going on. We have costume contests for that, and we also have a pumpkin carving contest where people bring in pumpkins they've carved, and I know one year the one that won had Daleks carved into it. It was really fantastic looking, and there have been some really interesting ones that have come out over the years. So those are our two big events that we have through the year, and always welcome everybody to come. They're always free to attend. Just come here and spend money with the vendors and spend your money there. So
come in, leave your wallets.
We always appreciate it too. Just to add it in there.
I'm good. Folks, again, as far as we mentioned, leave your wallets and spend more money. We've got our commercials to take care of, and they're going to be coming up. And when we return, we're going to finish and wrap up our discussion with Keith Bradbury with Who North Atlanta. When we return, please continue to listen. Stay tight, hang tight. We're going to be coming back and continue to become part of the legend. But wait. First, if you haven't done it already, please consider to subscribe on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, anywhere in the Hooniverse, so you can keep track of us. Download the iHeart app and make sure that you linked up with us so you get every episode, every week that we put out there, and keep in touch with the Traveling Tardis. Now we'll return. Please continue to become part of the legend.
Every year, tens of millions of people flock to Florida for its sunny beaches and world-famous tourist attractions. Most never learn about the strange and unusual locations just off the beaten path. From the UFOs of Gulf Breeze to Robert the Haunted Doll in Key West, learn about the myths, monsters, and legends from the dark side of the Sunshine State with author Mark Muncy and illustrator Carrie Schultz in their books Eerie, Florida and Freaky Florida from the History Press. Find them at EerieFlorida.com or wherever books are sold.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hanging Out Club Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellish Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellish Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellish Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embellisheffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Discarded by Michael J. Allen. In a world where magic is sold like designer coffee, unknown forces have corrupted it, and it's killing people. Now, an unlikely hero emerges. A homeless ex-con creating spells out of a trash can is the only one who can save the city. Michael J. Allen's Discarded, available on Amazon.com.
Murder by the Gods from author William G. Collins is available today. Murder by the Gods is a mystery thriller set in the glorious past of ancient Egypt. When the son of the Scorpion King suddenly collapses after receiving a mysterious threat from the god Seth, the prince is convinced it is the gods who are trying to kill his family. Murder by the Gods is filled with adventure and romance in a kingdom that would become known as the Land of the Pharaohs. Murder by the Gods from author William G. Collins is available on Amazon.com today.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis. My name is Christian Basil. We're here with Nico. We are here with Mackenzie. We are here with Keith Bradbury of Who North America. And I have a question that I've been holding on for a little bit here. But Keith, yes, what is the most oddest thing that sold in your store that you looked at and said, oh my God, I can't believe they made this merchandise, and it actually sold?
You mean like the Doctor Who underpants?
Yes, like the Doctor Who underpants.
Yeah, it sold. And people always ask, is it bigger on the inside? And I say, it depends on...
Yoinks.
Yes.
Those I don't know if it's the same one. I would assume that's probably the same one. When I was at, I want to say it was Wizard World Chicago, John Barrowman actually bought a pair, and he was wearing it with his TARDIS, flinging around everywhere. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That doesn't surprise me.
Ahead anytime soon. So Doctor Who, there's no way around it. Did they have panties as well, or was it just men's underwear?
It was just boxers, yeah. That's the only thing I've seen. Now, I think there have been some other things in the past, throughout the years, but like I said, those to me are kind of, more the unusual stuff that we've carried. If you can think of it, they probably made it at some point, and oddly enough, as much stuff as we have on display, there are so many products we have never been able to either carry, locate, or afford to get a hold of that, there's just so much stuff out there. It's probably been made. It's just people aren't aware that it has been made in the past. So
and if it's not official, you can find it on Etsy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, they'll make it on Etsy.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, where do you see your business in like the next couple of years, in like 5 years? What do you want to do with your business? And if you'd like, you can more than welcome to open a store somewhere here in Orlando. But where do you see your store? Do you see yourself branching out? Do you see make the store bigger over here? Where do you see yourself
right
doing?
now, we're just hanging on for dear life.
Okay.
I would say the show post 50th anniversary, the merchandise in the United States has dried up a lot. There's not as many licensors, so there's not as much product hitting the market. In a way, it's put us back to one of the few sources where you can get as much as you can. But I mean, we're having to scavenge to even get a hold of Doctor Who product at this point. So I'm hoping that the series regains some popularity in the next few years that it has kind of lost, in the past 3 or 4. And that just show ebbs and flows. It's happened before, so hopefully we can hang in there because there's lots of things we'd like to do here at the facility to make it better, and and things we'd like to do, including replacing the existing sign, which is in pieces out there. But there were things we'd always wanted to do in this building and this property to expand it and have more interactive things. We wanted to do a kind of an interactive escape room type Doctor Who adventure in one part of the building, and we wanted to develop that out. That was one of the things we've really, really wanted to do, and I think long term it's probably one of the things we'll see happen. So there are some different things that we do want to do. So.
Yeah, I would love to come up there and see that, and I love that they're starting to come up with the idea of escape rooms for Doctor Who, specifically the genre of Doctor Who, and I've always argued. I don't know if you're familiar with the Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal Studios here in Orlando.
Yes.
I would love for them to do one time that they can do, and there's no reason that they can't do it, that they would do Doctor Who haunted houses. So like one haunted house, you'd walk into the cyber labs, the cyber conversion chamber, and you're trying to get out and you can hear the saws and everything. The next one, you're walking through Sally Sparrow's house. I'm just like, I would love to be haunted houses somewhere that I could walk through and geek out while I'm walking and say, oh my God, that's from the scene there. But those escape rooms, I love them because you're so, it's interactive. It's fun. You have people getting together and doing stuff. And I'm glad they're taking off. I'm glad that they're doing well out there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's probably toughest for someone like us is because we don't have any studio backing. In other words, we're not an official, extension of the Doctor Who,
right.
Property. There's a lot of things we'd love to do that money-wise probably would never happen because we don't have that kind of, backing.
No, I understand.
Money-wise. But we'd love to pull off what we can. So, and that's one of the things we've always tried to do is what can we do with what we have or what little we have, and kind of like the original classic show. What can we pull off with our limited budget? So
that's what I tell the team about our radio show. What can we pull off with our limited budget? Yep. / that won't get us arrested or banned, something like that in there. But have you had any who celebrities come up at there? Have you had any of the actors or?
Yeah. Since we moved to this building, the only actor who's actually been in the building is Caitlin Blackwood, who played young Amy Pond. That's right. Karen Gillan's cousin. Uh-huh. So she was here and did an autograph session, and then was kind enough to go out to dinner with us afterwards and hang out. So we had a really good time with her. And usually when we do things with actors, for example, we've had the 7th Doctor, the 5th Doctor, which, Sylvester McCoy, Peter Davison, Sophie Aldred. We had them in conjunction with a local convention. So, because there's only so many people you can get into our store at any given time, parking wise and everything like that. So, with those, usually we do something like at a convention. So we have brought them in to do some different things like that. So, but like I said, in store specifically here, like Caitlin Blackwood. So there you go.
Oh wow! Well, now you got a celebrity in there. Yeah. We're coming up to the final portion of our show. Mackenzie, if you want to give this, I wanted to talk up more about your event that's taking place this Saturday, and where people can find you web presence wise, where they can actually go and purchase merchandise. I think it's whona.com.
That is correct. Yes.
Whona.com. Gotcha there. I'm on the website right now, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's not just it's not just Doctor Who stuff you have up there. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, a lot of it's British series. Most of it's related to Big Finish. So in other words, Big Finish does the Doctor Who audios. They've also done the Blake 7 audios, so you can get those through our website. They've also done some Avengers, and we're not talking superhero adventures. We're talking about the classic British series of the Adventures.
Steed.
Yes, there you go. And all that. So there are some audios, and they've also done audios for the classic horror series, Dark Shadows. So if you're a fan of any of that, you can find those audios through our website, as well as many toys and series from other things that we carry. Then also you'll notice if you do go to our website, there's a forum section. You can click on that. So there's a lot of discussion up there and a lot of people who are actually trying to trade and find different things, and that's a good place for you to begin your search for the hard-to-find items by trading with other fans. Then there's also, we've got a strong Facebook presence. Well, you'll find our events section there on Facebook and some other interesting things on that page as well. So come see everything.
Got it. And I just got to say, this is a side note. Kids, before there were Avengers, there were the Avengers.
That's right.
John Steed.
Yep.
And all... And everything of you got to check out this place. Mackenzie, what time is the event? Do you know, Fan?
The event, I want to say, isn't like
11 till 8 is what is advertised for that. So
okay, yes. So definitely, and the Traveling Tardis. Are you going to be out there all day, Mackenzie, taking pictures?
I will be, yeah. I will be out there all day with that little Traveling TARDIS, and I will have the Rite of Wands as well as copy of the Whisper Tales of Graves Grove. And then I will have also some posters that are designed by Steve Morrison. He did the artwork for the Rite of Wands, so he has replicas of what my characters actually look like.
I like that.
And I will have and the thing that's most popular that a lot of people like to come to see at the table is the Myrta's Wand, which is crafted by the people who actually did the films of Harry Potter and signed by actor Matt Smith.
Here, you are in the area. Go check out Who North America. Get your picture with Mackenzie. Get your picture with the Traveling Tardis. He's going to be out there to geek out with all the Whovians. And make sure you check out the place. I'm looking at the website. It's wonderful. And check out the website at whonorthamerica.com. I want to thank all my panelists. I want to thank Mackenzie. I want to thank Nico. And special guest Keith Bradbury for North America Who. You guys, and I want to thank you for joining us here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Continue for next week. We're going to have a part 2 session of Who Made Me Do It. This is a wonderful session to hear about people who's not only who are passionate about Doctor Who, but somehow influence their life to make their passion a profession that spawned into there. And we're going to continue that series next week. And don't forget, for those of you who are in Florida, join me this Saturday at IndieCon. It's going to be taking place from noon till 9 p.m. I'm going to be there with the Hanging With team. Now, Mackenzie's going to have my Traveling TARDIS, but I'm going to be there if you want to geek out Who. I will be there at the Melbourne Auditorium off of Hibiscus Boulevard in East Melbourne, Florida. If you go, we'll have the link up there. Tickets are still on sale, but if you're listening to this episode where hopefully you will be up there already, if not, please come out and visit us with the Hanging With team as well as myself. We'll geek out Doctor Who as always.